First Chop Seal Black IPA.
Life is too short to be drinking shitty beer.
Welcome to another edition of Bands, Bikes and Booze Reviews. I am fucking roasting. It is so hot out there that I've had to come in here. I made a mistake. I went out early this morning. I was hoping to work on my car. One of the trailing arm bushes has gone, and it turns out it needs a new tool, or it actually needs a special tool, I should say, to remove it. And that's nearly 300 quid. The actual part that needs replacing is about 30 quid. And you just think, oh, I really didn't want to take it to a mechanic either, but it looks like I'm going to have to now, unless I want to spend out £300 on a tool that I'm going to use once to replace a part for 30 quid. Then got home, and it was really weird, because I remember I bought some beers from Gypsy Hill, and I could have swore blind that I saw a can of Helles in my beer fridge. Now my beer fridge has got a little freezer at the top, and I'm sure I was going to review it, and I don't know what happened, but it must have slipped my mind. And I went there today, opened up the freezer, because I was going to put another beer in there just to get it nice and cold, and there it was. It had blown, the lager had gone everywhere, the lovely Gypsy Hill Helles lager had gone everywhere, and I didn't get to review it. So I'm going to have to get some more of that and review it. I knew I wasn't going mad. I could have sworn there was something there. Anyway, enough of that. One good thing to come out of this morning, I went down to Lidl's very early. Good job I did. I beat the queues. But I also discovered all the beers that they're doing for their craft beer festival. I got them all. I got every single one. And they even had the Shepherd Neame Double Stout, which I couldn't find anywhere in a supermarket in Kent. And it would have been cheaper if I bought it there, but I've reviewed it now, it's done. There you go. Right, so I've got some of this stuff. This is the First Chop Seal Black IPA. If you're wondering what a black IPA is, I'll tell you in a minute. Now they're based in Manchester, home of shit football teams, but good brewers. The Cloudwater, of course, come from Manchester, and this is where First Chop come from. And they've been going since 2012. They're obviously quite popular because I think it was in 2018, they brewed their millionth pint, or sold their millionth pint, one of the two, I can't remember which one. But they looked quite interesting, and of course they were part of this little craft beer festival. So I thought I'll give that a go first. Now, Black IPA, you're probably wondering what that is. Black IPA is a phenomenon from the American craft beer revolution. It's a style they've come up with, and it's quite a unique idea actually. You may see this called American style black ale, India dark ale, India black ale, not India dark ale, and Cascadian dark ale. Obviously Cascadian from the Cascade hops that are used in it. But there is a but. This one is distinctly different in that it contains quite a lot of British ingredients, as you would expect from a British brewer. I'll get onto that in a bit. Firstly, this is called Seal. This is called First Chop Seal Black IPA. It is also called Black Jaggery IPA. Now, why is it called Black Jaggery? It's called Black Jaggery after the sugar that they put into this. They put jaggery sugar into this, and if you're wondering what jaggery sugar is, well, no, I won't tell you now. I'll tell you when I'm reviewing all the ingredients, when I'm investigating the beer. So let's stop gassing and let's get this investigated. Right, as I say, You could probably get this direct from the brewer, but it's available in Lidl for £1.29, which is, I think, a bargain. Depends how it tastes, of course. It's 6.2%. It's a 330ml can, and it's got some interesting ingredients. Now, it's gluten-free, which is interesting how they've done that, because it contains Marisotto pale malt. Now, that is probably the best pale malt you can use. Now, that's going to make up most of your grain bill in a pale ale, or in most British beers, to be honest. You know, your British ales and stuff, Marisotto is the Rolls Royce. Really good as the base malt, because of course that is going to make up the majority of it. Then they've got crystal malt in here, and crystal malt again is just malt that's been dampened down. It's started producing the sugar, then it's gone into the kiln and it's been roasted, and them sugars, they all turn to crystal and they give it a nice crunchy texture and some sweetness as well. Of course, being a black IPA, this has got roasted barley. Now, if you're familiar with Guinness and porters and stouts, they all get their colour from roasted barley, and it makes up a very small percent of the grain bill, and it's quite a good way of colouring your beer dark, because you don't need much of it. You just roast the hell out of them, and they give you a nice chocolate coffee flavours, but they also give you a nice dark, or even black in some cases, colour to your beer. Now, I mentioned jaggery sugar in this, and this being sometimes called jaggery IPA by the First Shot Brewing arm, as they're known. Jaggery sugar is, as I said, it's an Asian cane sugar, and it's derived from cane sugar and the sap of the date palm tree, and it's mixed together. All the moisture's taken out, it's basically desiccated, and if you can imagine upside down pots, that's what they look like. I mean, it's formed in a pot, and it's like a very hard, thick rock type sugar, and it's used a lot in India, Sri Lanka, Nepal, certain parts of the Far East, etc. But that's where it comes from, and that's where it's abundant. Why they've used it in this, I don't know, but there you go. The yeast is English ale yeast that they've used in this, which is interesting. I thought they would have used some weird strain of American IPA yeast or American ale yeast or something like that, but English ale yeast is a good choice. The hops are, there's 3 hops in here. So you've got Columbus, of course that is a pungent citrus hop from America, and it's used in a fair few IPAs, gives it a nice big bitter type flavour. You've got cluster hops, which are medium potency, but they are quite spicy. So black pepper, earthy type spice that you get from certain type herbs. That's what they're known for. It's the spice in there. And then you've got stuff called Bouclier. I don't know how you pronounce it. It's Bouclier, and again that has got quite big grassy and spicy and herbal notes as well. So that's quite an interesting combination of hops that they've put in here. So now you know what's in it. Let's see what it tastes like. Right, get this can open. I'm using one of these Rastal glasses because it's an IPA, a craft IPA. Now that looks more like a porter or a stout. As I say, I don't sniff beer out of the glass, or I don't sniff beer out of the bottle or the can anymore. There's no point. I'm just going to do it out of the glass. Wow, that is interesting. It's like a hoppy stout, if you can imagine that. I'm getting the roasted barley that's giving me the coffee aromas and sort of dark chocolate, bitter aromas. And then there is, as I mentioned with the hops, you're getting like a herbal grapefruit bitterness, and there is a little bit of spice on there as well, but it smells really nice. And with the roasted barley and the English ale yeast, this really is taking on a unique type of character. And there it is in the glass. That really is nice. For all intents and purposes, it's just reminded me of a hoppy stout. That's what I'm getting. Really interesting. This is my first black IPA, so wish me luck. Bottoms up. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. Certainly does taste like a stout or a porter with them roasted barleys. They're huge. The roasted barley in this is massive, and you're getting like coffee, dark chocolate, bitterness, the 100% cocoa, bittersweet flavour that you would expect from roasted barley. And then you've got a layer of hoppy goodness on the top. Now, if you were expecting big American flavours, then you're going to be very sadly mistaken. I wasn't, because I checked the ingredients, and everything in there, or almost everything in there, is very British in its approach. You've got the ale yeast for starters. Now, never underestimate the power of yeast. That can make or break any beer. An English ale yeast is tried and tested. It's in all the best bitters. It's in all the best golden ales. It's in all the best British ale, in my opinion. And you can't go wrong with it if you're brewing that sort of stuff. Now, where they put the roasted barley in this, that is just going to complement the stout and porter flavour on this. The two hop types, the cluster and the, I don't know whether I'm pronouncing it right, I'm going to call it Bouclier, that's how it, Bouclier if it's French. They've got the characteristics of European hops. Yes, they have got the cluster hop has got a slight citrus to it, but it's quite spicy as well. And the Bouclier hop has got herb, grass and spicy notes. Not real renowned for its citrus. So again, that's taken on the characteristic of, you know, with that description, an East Kent Golding or a Fuggle hop. And all in all, that is really good. In a blindfold test, I'd say that was a really good porter or a really good stout. I certainly wouldn't have it down as an IPA. There's just a hell of a lot of roasted malt in that, which is unusual because you got on the side, this is certified gluten free, and it says it's less than 10 ppm. ppm stands for parts per million, and that's the enzyme that causes the reaction to people with gluten intolerances. So I think to qualify for that, you have to be under a certain threshold, and of course 10 parts per million is under there, so this is certified gluten free. But you're getting all the roasted malt in there, which is really nice. You know, if somebody said to me this was an IPA, a gluten-free IPA, there's no, if in a blindfold test, well, even not in a blindfold test, I mean, if I just looked at it, it's just, yeah, it's really nice, and it's putting a smile on my face because I was expecting some American type abomination. And I said it yesterday as well. I was reviewing a beer, you'll probably see it, it'll come up. I was reviewing a German lager, and I was saying about craft brewers when they're trying to brew lager, a lot of them get it wrong because they're really good at brewing the IPAs. They will just throw in a load of hops, and the hops will cover a multitude of sins, you know, the real big citrus and all that. But with this, I think they've sat down and they got it right. Little bit of a disclaimer here. On the Lidl website, it says they're using Columbus, Cascade and Chinook. I've tried this now, and the description on the Lidl website, nah, not true at all. It says it's got big citrus, big herbal and big earth. No, I'm not getting that. I got big roasted malt, coffee, dark chocolate, a little subtle citrus on the top, and a little you know, little bit of herbal notes and some spicy notes, but they're very subtle. This is all about the malt. I don't know what Lidl was saying. I got my information from the brewer's website, the First Chop Brewing website, and I looked at the page for that beer, and that's what they've told me on that. So I'm going to go with the brewer rather than Lidl. Now, if you've got a problem with that, you know, that's fine, but I'm going to believe the brewer and the brewer's website over what Lidl have put on their website. So there you go. So what's the verdict on First Chop? Very good indeed. I do like this. As I said, I know I'm not going to label this point anymore, but I would not have had this down as a gluten-free IPA. This, to me, is like a really, really good stout or porter. It's got everything you'd expect from a good one. It's got lovely roasted malts. It's got the nice coffee, bitter chocolate, bitter dark chocolate on the finish. And on the top, you've just got a nice suggestion of grapefruit that's coming from the Columbus hops. And it gives it a very nice little twist. And it's really good. I absolutely love it. I am going to give that a 9 out of 10. And I might have to investigate the First Chop Brewery a little bit more now, because that is a fantastic effort. It's original. You don't see many people doing black IPAs. Not in the UK. You get quite a few in America. And of course, it's an American style black IPA. You never would have got that over here. And yeah, I like it. I really do like it. That is getting a 9 out of 10. I'm going to recommend it. Get yourself down Lidl. That is £1.29 a can. Definitely worth it. And if you like your stouts and your porters, you're going to love that. I guarantee it. And remember, beer is working class champagne.